Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm George. The RS3 is apart, but for good reason. Today we're going to be talking about wastegate size, placement, and some of the upgrades that are coming to the RS3, 44mm to the Turbosmart 60mm Powergate that we're going to be talking about installing and where we're going to be placing it. It's a bit controversial. My Facebook posts and the Instagram posts have drawn up a lot of conversation about where I'm going to be putting this, and we're going to be talking about why, and also showing that welding process here to show you guys some of the home welding that we do, and where we're going to be placing it, all the prep that we had to do, let me not get into it because I don't want to spoil it, but in this episode we're going to be talking about wastegates and installing and prepping and setting up this new Powergate 60mm from Turbosmart. So let's talk. We're moving up to the 60mm gate, but I mentioned controversial. I mentioned weird placement. We're not going to be putting this on the manifold. We're going to be placing it on the turbo housing. Don't mind this. This is just the flange, and this is what I welded here on the inside. And I got to do a little stitch welding on the inside of the flange just to make sure it's super secure. This is 2.5 inches for the 60mm gate, and we're going to be placing it on the G42 1450 housing. And you're asking why, right? Why? What the hell? I don't see this. And you're right. You normally wouldn't see something like this. This is not very streetcar-esque, not very street shop or automotive shop-esque as some of the speed shops you've seen, building these cars. This is very high-end motorsport setup. It's a very proven setup of placing the gate on the actual turbo in the direct flow that's all channeled from all the cylinders there, and being able to more precisely and accurately control boost. And we're going to be welding that. I'm going to show you a quick snippet of how we cut this. We ended up using Home Depot hole saws with carbide tips, and then ended up taking about a couple hours to kind of chew through this and then manually prep this. But it is a stainless steel housing. I am going to be preheating this bad boy, and we are going to be using, let me see what we got. We are going to be using the, ER309L stainless filler rod, and this one has it's a little bit more ductile, it's a lot more forgiving, especially when welding two different types of stainless steel or stainless to regular steel. I've used it before on Staub's manifold when I did his flange on his turbo manifold. Ended up coming out pretty decent. So I'm going to be using this today. Ended up getting from a local welding shop about maybe last year, and I still have plenty of rods in there to kind of do what I need to do for today's activity. But today we're going to go over and I'm going to showcase welding this 90 degree, and it's right on the cusp of that flow port, so it's going to catch all that flow, and I'm going to use that TIG welding hand, third hand, finger, whatever they want to call it, hold it in place, tack it. I'm going to do nice beads and fill it all the way evenly, all the way around, and get this ready so we can reinstall it into the car and better control boost. All right, guys, I think we're good. Got over a 1/4 inch worth of clearance there. I think it looks beautifully mocked up, and I think it almost looks natural in a sense. I don't know. Call me weird. Still have to figure out whether or not we do a 90 and then try to go down over here somewhere for a dump tube, or straight up through the hood. We're gonna have to figure that out. But that looks good, guys. I think we're golden there, and I'm gonna start welding. Yeah, let's start welding. So this is us using a carbide tip hole saw on a Harbor Freight press. Not the smartest or best route. We definitely learned a lot during this process. Anyway, long story short, a few hours worth of hole sawing, and 6 bits later we ended up getting it. This is me lining up the Schedule 40 90 degree flange or pipe that I got from aceraceparts.com. We get pretty much, I buy all my welding materials there as far as, intercooler piping, exhaust flanges, so on and so forth. So this is me now doing some tin foil there to get everything ready for the purge. You're going to have stuff leak out of that seam. Again, take whatever I say with a grain of salt. Understand I'm not a pro welder. But here's a bit of preheat that I did. I know it doesn't seem like I did a lot, but I got that turbine housing really hot. This way it can definitely accept now this root pass that I'm doing, and as I'm filling the gaps and adding filler rod to start getting this thing welded. Ultimately, my goal with this thing is to do 2 solid root passes and then start doing some weaving, which I did.
And then I kind of noticed that I should probably do a lot more stringer passes for strength, realizing that, hey, this housing is super thick. It's about ½ inch, if not a little bit more thick. When we cut it out, it's gargantuan. And if you want to see what it looks like, check out our Malaka Motorsports Instagram and my personal Instagram. I took a photo of it. Garrett makes some pretty high quality turbos, and now we know why they charge so much. So yeah, this is me welding now, getting everything pretty much done, weaving, going over, thinking I'm fancy. Again, I'm not a pro welder. I learned pretty much at home watching fabrication series on YouTube and kind of taking pictures as you see there and posting on Instagram and getting critiques. But this is me just figuring it out and doing what I think is best. And let me know what you guys think. We'll showcase what it looked like when it's done here in just a second.
So, I have a surprise. The dump tube piping has not come in from Ace Race yet. And I'm pretty sure I'm dead set on making a hood exit. But for those of you guys on the fence about whether or not it should be a hood exit, I have just turned the wastegate facing up. I've installed the turbo again. If you guys want to check it out, let me show you. Come. So the 60mm Turbosmart gate is installed. I angled it up. And I can't wait to drive it. So again, like I talked about in the beginning of the video, we had issues controlling boost. And you have to be able to control boost to be able to do things like launch control, rolling anti-lag, and be competitive. Otherwise, it'll just be a dyno queen, you know, make a boost number for the internet, and that's it. We want to race and we want to compete with this car, so controlling boost is key. But if you guys watched our Facebook or Instagram posts, a lot of people were hating on this gate setup. Oh, it's going to cause a lot of turbulence. Oh, it's going to cause a lot of issues. It'll never work. It won't control boost. Well, I'm not going to spoil anything because we're about to go for a drive. But boost is controlled perfectly. We have it set to gate pressure because before we couldn't even run gate pressure because again it would outflow the 44mm tile gate and it would just overboost to 20-30 psi. We have this set to 14 psi with a base spring. Again, vacuum just going to the lower port, going to the bottom of the turbine, to the compressor cover, and it should only run 14 psi. And we should see some nice little flames in between the shifts. Again, not running high boost just yet. Because we want to make sure we can control the small ends amount of boost. And I'm most excited about this, that's why I took the hood off, is I just can't wait. It's literally 4th of July in 6 minutes. It's 11 p.m. at night. It's going to be 4th of July here in a few minutes, so might as well see some fireworks. So let's go for a quick drive. I'll show you guys in the cabin what it looks like. And then a decent video from the outside. It's gonna have a little bit of wind, but you guys will be able to hear it and see that flame. A couple decent little second gear to third gear pulls. But for all the people that said that wouldn't work, it would never work. It would cause turbulence. It doesn't make sense. Again, this gate setup is for high-end extreme motorsport setups. It's not really common for street cars. But there have been a few YouTubers to do it as well, which is kind of cool. So it's slowly becoming mainstream. Consensus across the board that putting a port on top of the turbine in a specific spot is the ultimate form of boost control because you're getting all the flow from the manifold into that one area and you're able to really precisely control boost depending on where you need it. And again, we need to be able to control it from the base pressure, which is 14, 15 psi, all the way up to the high end. And if I cannot, especially between shifts, I will not be competitive with this car. Making a dyno number is not important to me. Making a YouTube dyno number is not important to me. Performing, quarter mile, going racing is important to me. It's what I built the car for. That's what me and Stav aimed to put this car together for, to have some fun. So without further ado, guys, let's go for a quick drive and you guys tell me what you think. What do you think? I think it controls boost just fine. We hit the max, 13.8, 13.9 PSI of boost on gate pressure. All right, next is gonna be throwing the MAC valve back on, the boost solenoid, and seeing how high we could go. Before we were going as high as 38, 40 intentionally, but it kept going forward and building boost. We ended up spiking to 45, 50 PSI unintentionally because that's when we weren't ready to get there yet, but surprised that the motor kind of took it anyway, and I didn't really let go of the accelerator pedal, and I just kept going. And it's totally something that I have a problem with, and I've been seeing a professional about it, and I'm trying to get it fixed, but I don't listen to warnings. I just flat out just keep going. So anyway, next, again, the next video that's coming up. First of all, I'm glad you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you've taken this and kind of gone back and thought about it a little bit. Again, dare to be different, dare to experiment. It's okay to be unconventional. It's okay to do things differently than everyone else and experiment. Having a welder in your home, again, they're selling them at Harbor Freight for as cheap as $500. And being able to weld and test and experiment and not listen to all the naysayers out there. We talked about that in my last video, right? Doing whatever it is that you want to do and learning for yourself, right? Instead of taking someone's word for it. Now, mind you, there's going to be professionals out there, people that we also consult, that we listen to very closely. But I'm talking about the peanut gallery. I'm talking about the people that don't do anything, that are just yapping on your post or on your content just to yap, that are not doing anything close to what you're doing. So take that with a grain of salt, guys. Learn, experiment, don't be afraid. Boost is perfectly controlled now. We didn't even break past 14 PSI, which is amazing. 13.8, 13.9, so that tells me we're right on wastegate pressure, and that tells me we're good to proceed. But again, like I told you in the beginning of this video, Stav's got a video for fuel pumps. We are yanking the surge tank on the next video, upgrading all 3 pumps, and I'm gonna tell you, and Stav's gonna tell you why, because it's ended up being my mistake. And he's going to get into it, make fun of me, but I'd rather you guys watch that video and enjoy that. That's going to be coming out probably Wednesday or Thursday. Anyway, happy 4th of July. I hope you guys enjoy it. Be safe out there. Be careful. For those of you guys that are daredevils with fireworks, be super extra careful with that stuff. And for those of you guys that build cars that act like fireworks, drive safe out there and be careful. For me and Stav, we appreciate all the love and support. Again, thank you for all the support in the last video. We hope you guys like this one. Onward and upward. We'll see you guys on the next video. I'm George. This is Malaka Motorsports. Tell Stav to hurry up. Post on his personal Instagram and tell him to hurry up so he can come and film this. He's got to yank the surge tank and swap out those pumps and do his video. He's got to come over. What's tomorrow? The 4th? He's got to come out tomorrow or the 5th to do it. Anyway, harass him, all right? Get him to do it so we can get more content out to you, because I'm super pumped now to get this thing ripping and showcasing this car and having fun with you guys. So anyway, I think I've done my 3rd outro this time. This time is for real. Thank you guys for watching. Love you all. Later.